All right, let's create a compelling hook for this YouTube video script. What's up, Cowboys Nation? Last night's game was a total blowout, but it might come at a serious cost. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence both went down, and the entire NFL is buzzing. Is Dallas's defensive dominance in jeopardy? Stick around as we break down every heart-stopping moment and what it means for America's team going forward. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. Breaking news from last night's Thursday night football matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Buckle up, because we've got a lot to unpack from this game, especially concerning two of the Cowboys' defensive superstars, Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's dive right into the action. The Cowboys came out on top with a convincing 40-0 victory over their division rivals, the New York Giants. But as we all know, sometimes even in victory, there's a price to pay. And for Dallas, that price might be the health of two of their most crucial defensive players. First up, let's talk about Micah Parsons. The young linebacker has been nothing short of phenomenal since entering the league, and last night was no exception. Parsons was all over the field, causing havoc for the Giants' offense. But in the fourth quarter, with the game already well in hand, Cowboys fans held their breath as Parsons went down with what appeared to be a leg injury. The replays showed Parsons getting tangled up with a Giants player during a routine play. He immediately grabbed his leg and stayed down on the turf for a few moments. The medical staff rushed out, and you could hear a pin drop in MetLife Stadium. It's not often that a player from the visiting team gets that kind of respect, but that just shows you how much of an impact Parsons has made in such a short time. Fortunately, Parsons was able to walk off the field under his own power, which is always a good sign. But folks, let me tell you, the way he was favoring that leg as he made his way to the sideline, it's got me worried. The Cowboys coaching staff quickly ruled him out for the remainder of the game, but at that point, it was more of a precautionary measure given the score. Now, let's shift our focus to the veteran of the group, DeMarcus Lawrence. Tank, as he's affectionately known, has been a cornerstone of this Cowboys defense for years. His ability to rush the passer and set the edge against the run is crucial to their scheme. But last night, Lawrence also found himself in the trainer's tent, dealing with what the team is calling a lower body injury. The incident occurred early in the third quarter. Lawrence was engaged with a Giants offensive lineman when he suddenly pulled up, clearly in discomfort. He immediately signaled to the sideline and limped off the field. The Cowboys' medical staff attended to him on the sideline before he eventually made his way to the locker room for further evaluation. Now, I've got to say, the timing of these injuries couldn't be worse for Dallas. They're coming off a dominant performance, sure, but they've got a tough stretch of games coming up. Losing either Parsons or Lawrence for an extended period could seriously impact their defensive effectiveness. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. The Cowboys' defense as a whole was absolutely lights out last night. They pitched a shutout against a Giants team that, while not exactly an offensive juggernaut, still has some playmakers. Daniel Jones was under pressure all night. Saquon Barkley couldn't find any running lanes, and the Cowboys' secondary was locking down the Giants' receivers. This performance really showcased the depth of talent on this Dallas defense. Even when Parsons and Lawrence went down, guys like Dorrance Armstrong and Sam Williams stepped up big time. They didn't miss a beat, continuing to harass Jones and stuff the run game. But here's the million-dollar question. Can they maintain this level of play if Parsons and Lawrence miss significant time? That's what we'll all be watching closely in the coming days and weeks. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But what about the offense? And you're right, we can't ignore the Cowboys' offensive explosion. Dak Prescott looked sharp. CeeDee Lamb was making plays all over the field, and Tony Pollard showed why he's one of the most underrated running backs in the league. But let's be real, this game was won in the trenches, and it was the defense that set the tone from the get-go. Speaking of setting the tone, how about that special teams play in the first quarter? Blocking a field goal and returning it for a touchdown? That's the kind of momentum-shifting play that can demoralize an opponent, and it certainly seemed to take the wind out of the Giants' sails early on. But let's circle back to our main concern, the health of Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. As of right now, we don't have any official word on the severity of their injuries. The Cowboys' head coach, Mike McCarthy, was understandably tight-lipped in his post-game press conference, saying only that both players would undergo further evaluation in the coming days. This is where things get interesting, folks. The Cowboys have a bit of a cushion here, with 10 days until their next game. That extra time could be crucial in getting Parsons and Lawrence healthy. But if they can't go, it'll be up to the coaching staff to make some adjustments. One option could be to give more snaps to rookie Sam Williams. The young pass rusher out of Ole Miss has shown flashes of potential, and this could be his opportunity to step up and make a name for himself. We could also see more of Dante Fowler Jr., the veteran edge rusher who's been a solid rotational piece for Dallas. In the linebacker core, the Cowboys have some flexibility with guys like Leighton Vander Esch and Jabril Cox. But let's be real, there's no replacing what Micah Parsons brings to the table. His versatility allows defensive coordinator Dan Quinn to get creative with his schemes, and that's not something you can easily replicate. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about these injuries? How concerned are you about the Cowboys' defensive outlook if Parsons and Lawrence miss time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. But before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate what we witnessed last night. Injuries aside, this was a statement win for the Cowboys. They went into a hostile environment against a division rival and absolutely dominated in all three phases of the game. This is the kind of performance that puts the rest of the league on notice. The NFC East has been touted as one of the toughest divisions in football, but the Cowboys just made a strong case for being the team to beat. The Eagles might have something to say about that, but that's a conversation for another day. For now, all eyes will be on the injury reports coming out of Dallas. Cowboys Nation will be holding its collective breath, hoping for good news about Parsons and Lawrence. These two players are not just important on the field, they're the heart and soul of this defense, the guys who set the tone in practice and in the locker room. As we wait for updates, let's not forget to give credit where it's due. The entire Cowboys team showed up last night, from the starters to the backups. They played with an intensity and focus that championship teams possess. If they can maintain this level of play, and if they can get healthy, this could be a special season in Dallas.